I'm going to now move over to Catherine. Um, since we ran such successful pilot at Guardian Life, Catherine, I want to ask you that basis the pilot which you ran, what really informed your decision to extend Sherlock coaching, the AI coaching, to the wiser section of the employees in the organization?
All right. So, great question, Pooja. So, I want to kind of build on a little bit of what Dr. Woodward said around the ability to democratize and scale coaching to so many more people using a digital AI platform for coaching. I think what we've found through COVID and the hybrid work environment is that a lot of people are really burnt out. And this allows us to work with a different group of people who otherwise would not probably receive what we call human coaching, because human coaching has traditionally been typically for our executive and high potentials, and it also can be very costly. And so what we did during our pilot is we really targeted people who are more individual contributors within our organization, folks who we know have a curiosity for learning. And what we found is that many of them really glommed on to this idea of being able to receive coaching anytime, anywhere. And I think that was a really essential piece of this whole pilot, is that people felt like in the moment they could get assistance working through and thinking through an issue that maybe was tripping them up. And so as a result of that, a lot of our feedback was extremely positive in terms of its ability to help people get unstuck and move forward in their day-to-day.
Go ahead, Woody.
Yeah, so to touch on some of what Catherine said, I think it's really important to consider the idea that we're talking about human development and human transformation, right? And so what she mentioned was, how do we broaden that umbrella of services and opportunities to help individuals in an organization get their developmental needs met? It's not just the domain of a high-end executive coach working with a C-suite executive, right? If we want to really expand the opportunities and scale, we can't scale enough coaches, right, to work with everybody in the organization, but we can provide alternative types of services like an AI coach or AI developmental tools, or even micro learning programs that can be accessible by employees at various different levels, at various different stages of their development. So I think it's really important what Catherine's talking about is expanding the opportunity for human development across the organization, not just specifically coaching. And that's an important distinction I think we need to consider, because something Deep mentioned earlier, the idea of an AI coach and acceptance, right? Maybe for older folks, it's a little bit dicier and tougher, what we're seeing in some of the research, but for younger employees, those newer entrants into the workforce, I think they're more native, right, to AI. They're more native to digital tools and technology. They're more native to even social media tools, right? So they're used to this type of stuff and they're more comfortable. So I think we have to be careful about the decision makers, right, who may be less comfortable making decisions about tools that those who are more comfortable using might actually want to use. So we have to be very thoughtful about which audience we're tapping and we're targeting, and how we're going to speak to them and the kind of tools that will resonate well with them. That said, I think there's a great study to kind of build on some of what Deep was talking about, as well as Catherine, that came out from USC earlier this year. It was in the trying to remember the proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, where they looked at responses to narratives written by both human, right, sample size, as well as ChatGPT, right? And the idea was, how can we respond to human emotional needs, and what does it look like when an AI does it versus a human does it? Not a coach, right? Just a random sample of humans responding to these. They found that the recipients of these responses, when it was blind, rated the AI as more emotionally attuned and more empathetic than the human responders who were writing responses to their needs. So if you take a look at the study, it's fascinating. But what happened, though, for those where they actually revealed it's an AI versus a human, it kind of flipped, right? Because of that uncomfort with the uncanny valley of an AI interacting with me. So we still have a ways to go when it comes to adaptation and understanding, but we know that the technology is actually reasonably effective out
Yeah.
there, but it's more about acceptance and the use cases.